that was a hit and I ain't think it was gonna be a hit was 1 Minute Man. You gonna put this out? Tim, you crazy. This jam, all my girls, the girls going crazy. I'm like,
yeah, man, that girl was going crazy. Hell no, we didn't like it.
But then when it blew up, I said, that girl Missy, she knows. And from that point on,
you never questioned anything.
It was like Game of Thrones. She was like, yes, my queen.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, and the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is a global icon. He has more top 10 hits than Elvis and the Beatles, 21 Grammy nominations, 4 wins, a DJ, super producer, rapper, songwriter, executive, entrepreneur, the emperor of sound, none other than Timbaland. Tim.
Hey, brother.
What's up, bro?
I'm blessed.
How you doing?
I'm blessed.
You know what, bro? When you come on the show and I have someone as distinguished as yourself, I got to toast your career and more things to come. Appreciate you. Got your bottle.
For those out there, if you are a cognac drinker, this right here. Ooh, that's Shay Shay.
I appreciate that.
Ooh, Shay. Woo, yes.
Thanks for stopping by. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
You know what? Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to start back. We can go all the way back to Virginia. I was reading your story. You have a very interesting life, and you accomplished some great things. But this almost didn't happen. Accidentally got shot working at Red Lobster. What transpired? How did this event come about?
I was a kid who always just loved music. You know, growing from the South, as I look back at it now, we really wasn't, you know, my parents, God bless them, but we really wasn't taught, you know, like we can go higher.
Right.
I was just a kid who always dreamed so big, and I'm like, I gotta, this music thing is just on my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So even when I got shot, it's just something I had to do as a kid.
Right.
I guess that was my calling because I was a dishwasher working at Red Lobster. And music just called me.
Well,
and,
how did you get shot as the dishwasher? You in the back.
That's a good question. But you know how we young and my homeboy had a gun. He said, yo, I'm gonna get your boy. Wait till this is the craziest thing. It's like a promo for a fight in high school.
Right.
Kids like, wait till the football game, I'm gonna get you.
Right.
You could have been for it 2 days early.
Right.
But they waited, they built this up. So my homeboy grabbed a revolver and he was putting it up in the bag. He said, wait till the next game. And as he was putting up in the bag, I said, man, and I was turning around to clock out and I turned around, pow! And I walked off and I thought my arm was on the ground.
Right.
And I said, where my arm at? I said, where my arm? And what happened, my whole nerve this side got paralyzed. It was paralyzed for like about a year, 2 years.
Right.
And I had to go to therapy, but I'm like, yo, the only thing I would think about, I'm a DJ.
So as you're bleeding, what's going through your mind? Are you thinking like, man, damn, dude accidentally shot me. I got so much, because like you said, you had dreamed big.
Yeah.
I got dreams I got to fulfill. What's going through your mind?
I can't DJ no more. My arm ain't working.
Right.
So I said, I got to figure this out.
Right.
So I wasn't thinking about even dying.
Okay.
You know, my parents, that's one thing, they stood strong, and the doctors was like telling them, we don't know. I'm like, I know, I'm gonna live. That's just the attitude, because I felt like God wasn't finished with me yet.
Right.
And the only thing I was really concerned about was, could I use this arm again, because it was my scratch DJ hand.
Right.
And that was the only thing I was worried about. As life went on, I'm like, wait a minute, can I lift weights? Can I train?
Right.
Can I do all of that?
Okay.
But I just constantly believe. I think it was my faith that knowing I would get better. You know what I'm saying?
As you see what's transpired in the rap community, we see Pop Smoke get run down on. We see what happened to Dolph, young Dolph. We see some extension. We see some of the guys that have lost their life. Do you look back and say, damn, man, I'm very fortunate, because this thing could have really ended. My life could have ended. Forget the DJing and what I became, but my life could have ended before it got started.
You know, it's funny. Like I'm glad you're asking that because I think I go through some PTSD over that to this day. Because when you look at all the young people dying today, I just break down and thank God and say, you know, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Because I do have like some nightmares of that gun going off, and I still like you might see me jerk a little bit because it's just a flashback.
Right.
And I think it didn't come as my career was going. It comes like now as you become older, as it become a man.
You become reflective.
Exactly. And it really like I see why people like sometimes go crazy because the past catch up with you.
Right.
And I think I kind of relive it here and there. And I just be thankful and just be, that's all you can be. But it do put me down because I'm like, I could not have been here. Especially when I hear when like Young Dolph and people run. And it's like, a gunshot is a gunshot.
Right.
I got shot.
Right.
In the neck.
Right.
All I had to do was turn one simple way. I'd have been out of here.
Right.
But by me turning slight, it goes through here, and the bullet's still in me.
Right.
And they couldn't take it out because they're afraid that it would paralyze the whole right side.
Wow.
So I just think about, you know, now I just be like, it'll hit me just driving in the car, and I just say, thank God that I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of guys like LeBron, all he thought about was playing basketball. He was also a two-sport guy, played football also, but basketball. Since his mom gave him, I think he was like 4 years old, gave him that basketball. And you hear baseball players say, since my dad gave me a bat and a glove, and it was all about baseball, and guys with football. With you, you always had a beat in your head that you was like, man, this is what I want to do. This is what. Did you know, like, okay, I'm gonna be a DJ, I'm gonna be a producer. So what was it?
I didn't know what I was gonna be. I was just letting music guide me.
Okay.
So I was a great DJ in high school until Missy came into my life. That's when she told me that I was a great producer.
Okay.
Missy gave me all the confidence in the world, and she pushed me to be who I am today.
Right.
If it wasn't for her, the connection of friends, meeting friends from the neighborhood, like-minded people, connecting us, and Missy was like, the only reason why I started doing beats is because the music that people was making, I ain't like
You
it.
ain't like it.
And I wanted to blend my beats with like Stephanie Mills or Michael Jackson, Human Nature. And so my mom couldn't afford a keyboard. She brought me this Casio keyboard that only could sample for 1 second. And I said, what can I do with 1 second? I said, oh, if I speed the record up this way, with my hand, not on the 45 when you click it up. So I sped it up real fast on that and slowed it down the last key. So I slowed down time. So
How did you know to do that? I mean, you self-taught. No one. It's not like you classically trained, or you went to Juilliard, or you went to some of these super producers that could tell you this. You're self-taught.
I just now realized that. I just like, if there's a will, there's a way. Because like, I wasn't smart in school. I was like looking at people like, how do you get that answer? But, you know, I believe that I feel like I had a dyslexia, but I feel like I got to use my imperfection to be perfection. Mm-hmm. So me not being self-taught, it just called figuring it out, solving the problem.
Right.
How do I get 1 second? My mom can't afford to buy another keyboard.
Right.
I got to do this music. So I just sat there for weeks and weeks, maybe months, and said, aha, let me slow up time. Speed it up.
Speed up one thing, slow down the other.
Yeah, slow down the other.
I'm looking at, you look at Pharrell Williams, Missy Elliott, Cliff, Pusha T, all of you guys are Virginia. I mean, did you realize, like, when you're going through what you're going through and you look back, say, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, did you realize you guys will be, now Pharrell Williams, we know what he is in the music, super producer also, now he's the creative director at Louis Vuitton. Did you know that you guys would be what you became?
I knew Pharrell would have been great.
Okay.
I knew Missy was great. I knew we had something special.
Right.
I knew all of us had something special. I didn't know it would go to this point.
Okay.
I just know that New York was like the bubbling state, and we wanted to be heard from Virginia.
Okay.
And people was like, yo, that Timbaland sound. I didn't know I was creating the sound. We didn't know we was creating the sound.
Right.
Pharrell didn't know he was creating the sound. We were just like-minded people just doing great music. And Teddy got a hold of Pharrell first. So,
right.
And
Teddy Riley.
So Pharrell was the first one to really venture off and really understood the studio in that real limelight. And then it was me and Missy, and Pharrell kept telling like Teddy, like, yo, it's this other group, it's this other guy named Timbaland and Missy Elliott that you need to hear. And I guess Missy came up to the studio with Teddy, so she heard, you know, and Teddy was doing this thing with Michael Jackson, Pharrell was helping out. But we all kind of knew that we was destined to be something. We just didn't know what it was. And the thing about it, we didn't think like that. A lot of people today get caught up into the money, to all this stuff. We didn't think like that. It was the getting better to be proven. To say we made it, we got to put us at the table. Give us a seat at the table. Because, you know, New York had it popping, Kid Capri, all this, and no music come out of Virginia. So our purpose was give us a seat at the table. We deserved that. We deserved to be heard. It wasn't about making a lot of money. It wasn't about, we just know that we had something special and it needed to be heard, and we stuck to it. We ended we made ways out of no ways. You know what I'm saying? We rode in one car, 6 people, you know what I'm saying, to go to a studio session, everybody chipping for gas money, and it was the love of the music that kept us going, to know that we didn't have no money. Music made us feel rich.
So you wanted Virginia to be on the map for music. You got have great athletes. You got Allen Iverson, Bruce Smith. I mean Michael Vick, Sweet Pea Whitaker. So you had some pantheon iconic athletes, and they're like, but we ain't got no music. Let's put Virginia on the map for music.
Yeah. And I guess Pharrell was the first one to kind of bust down the door. Then came Missy, and Missy came with like that Gina Thompson, he how. Then everybody like, who is this girl? Then from there came she put me on, so I was a part of her. And then when we left Jodeci, we was with Jodeci at one time, and then we left Jodeci, and we had this song called Sugar and Spice, me and Missy. And that song got to Craig Coleman, which got to Aaliyah. And Aaliyah said, I don't like the song Sugar and Spice, but I want to work with the people who did that. I want to work with the guy who did the beat and whoever wrote the song. And from that point on, Virginia Sound was on the map.
How did you and Missy get started? Were you friends before she heard your beats? Did you guys go to school? Did you go to rival schools? How did Missy and Timbaland come to be?
Missy and Timbaland came to be because a friend of mine named, I think Melvin Noor, which was Magoo. That's Magoo.
Okay.
Magoo Noor. Magoo's from Portsmouth. Melvin knew Missy, and then this guy named E was working with Missy, was working with the group. Missy was in a group called Phase E. They the first one that put out a record from Virginia, so they was like the top notch. So then Missy and E connected, say, yo, you need to meet this guy named Timbaland, and he connected us. It came to my mom's house when I stayed in Virginia Beach. Missy, I was doing just beats like for the play, the mix with. But Missy heard the beats and like, no, I'm about to sing over this. And that was the first time I got introduced to singing over hip hop beats. Was through Missy. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm like, you about to do what? What? And she put them harmonies, my life changed. I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then it's like, she just kept like giving me the encouragement, like how dope you was, because then I kind of stopped DJing and I started focusing on beats. So I was like, cause she introduced me to melodies, harmonies. You can write songs. You don't have to just rap on these beats. I'm gonna write songs. And I was sampling old Patrice Rushen and making them like dope break beats. And she's like, we about to make this a song. And then she started singing and writing. I was like, it was like what I was doing elevated to the next level.
And she gave you confidence that you could do something more than DJ. She gave you confidence more than you can just produce beats. Because a lot of times someone of Missy, she's like, well, let me go get a more famous producer. She took the local kid from Virginia and says, nah, we gonna do this together. I'm leaving and I'm taking you with me.
That's exactly how it happened. Devontae, they met Jodeci at a concert. They met him backstage. Devontae said, y'all want to fly y'all out to Jersey. And then Missy said, well, can we fly my producer that I got back home? And that was me.
But you weren't a producer. She said she got a producer.
So she didn't go to Devontae. She said, I got my own. We got our own. So that's how it was.
How much pressure is that? Because that's Missy. She said, and they say, well, we got this producer for you. She said, nah, but I got my producer back home. So now, this is your opportunity. You know, in the Eminem song, you get one shot to seize this moment.
So now that's a lot of pressure.
It was, but I wasn't scared of it because we had a sound. And Devontae liked them for my sound. And so by him being as great as he is, he knew he came in the game with a sound with his group. So I thank God that he was like, yo, all right, he can come up. Right. Because I want to meet that guy who's doing that. And so it kind of worked because I learned from him. He learned from me. We both was young, but I was like a teenager when he was in his 20s. So he was doing his style and I was learning from him because he took harmonies and vocals and taught me and Missy how to really expand it. And then my beats was like different for him. So he was like, okay, I'm good at slow song. Timbo good at up tempos and mid.
Right.
So it was a perfect marriage. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you saying that this guy took you and says, okay, this is what I do, this is what you do, and we mix together. And it seems to me back then you saw a lot of that. Is that commonplace now in the game, that guys are willing to work and bring someone else along, or is that a forgotten art? Is that a forgotten
I think now we have more gatherings than we ever had. Because right now when I go in the studio, now everything is on a computer.
Okay.
So what I have witnessed in this generation is you good at it, he's good at it, she good at it. We put up one computer, everybody just come after each other and add to the same thing. And I was like, wow. Look how collaboration has evolved.
Right.
It's just everybody know how to work the computer. Everybody work on the same thing.
Right.
So everybody displays their gift
right
on the computer. So now it's a lot more collaborating today than I think it was in our era.
Okay. Now, Missy, the album, you're on us and she's like, okay, I got my producer, Tim. Okay, you're in studio. You're working on this. Like, are you thinking like, man, we about to blow? Or you like, damn, anxiousness, nervousness? What's going through your head when you're in the studio with Missy and you guys are gonna come out with this album?
Man, you know what's going through my head is I got a job.
Okay.
That was going through my head. I got a job.
Oh, okay.
I'm popping now.
Right.
You know, because all I wanted was $3,000 to help my mama and my parents. You know, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's all.
That's all you wanted?
Yeah. That's what we come from.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I look back at it, it's like, wow. Those were the good old days of life. You know what I'm saying? Not wanting much and taking little and making it so much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was just happy that we got what we wanted,
Right.
which was a deal. It wasn't no pressure on the first album because it was all fun.
Okay.
It was all,
Okay.
the rain, that was all, let's show the people what we got.
Okay. That first album, there's no pressure.
No pressure.
It blows up.
Uh-huh.
The second album,
Okay.
there's pressure.
Now let's talk about that. That's when Missy took me through the ringer.
What?
Missy would make, well, she always kind of did, but here's what she said, oh, this is my sophomore album. So she's like, we got to beat what we did.
Right.
So she was always like a drill sergeant. She would make me go through 100 beats before she picked one. And she'd be like, Tim, that might be dope for Jay-Z or Ludacris, but I gotta dance to it. I gotta see the video. I gotta see how my girl's gonna look. So she gave me this whole story. So I was like, it made me look at my beats different. I was like, so I started like, is this how the girl's gonna dance to the hi-hat? Is this sound? Is she go, will she go? So she just, you know,
Right.
Missy took, you know, she'll put you up here, then she'll
Bring you down.
But that's part of being
Right.
great. You know, everything that we go through in life when we get our professional job. Once you go in the door,
Right.
you know, everybody, LeBron, you got to know how to play with LeBron. And once you get on this team,
Right.
you better know how to play.
Right.
So Missy, like, now we're on this team.
Right.
Let me show you what Missy's really about.
Okay.
The fun is over. Now this the Missy that now that I'm in the door.
Like, but Missy, if you don't, this your boy Tim. You know how we rock. Come on, Missy.
I don't rock that way, Tim. So when she say stuff like that, she a girl, and every time she told me, I'd be like, my sister, right?
Right.
But why you take me high and you bring me low. You take me high, you
Right.
bring me low.
Right.
But I enjoy that because it made me who I am today. And I don't think I would have all these Jay-Z records, all the hits that I have,
Right.
if I just settled. She make me not settle.
Right.
We can be hotter, Tim. We can be doper.
I mean, you look at, Get Your Freak On and Work It, and her songs are so catchy, and they're so, you dance, and the thing was, in the videos was so futuristic, even for way back then. I mean, she was way, way ahead of her time as far as videos. And you're like, do you sit back and like, that's cold?
Oh, I do it all the time. I'd be like, people around be like, you know that's dope. It's like you get that head nod. You know what I'm saying? We do. Yeah. And when cause she bring it to life.
Right.
She takes something that I present to her, and she just say, "Watch how I make this blossom."
Right.
And she just make it blossom, and I be like, I just be smiling in the inside. Like I don't know how to show it on the outside, but the inside, I be saying all what you saying.
When you first met Missy and you looking at this, she's very small in stature, but her presence is like commanding. She demands that you look at her. She demands that you pay attention to her. Did you think this small of a woman could be in what she became? And now, as far as songwriting, she's in the Songwriting Hall of Fame. She's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's my girl. That's my homie from BA.
Missy is like, who is it? Is it Oprah from Color Purple?
Yeah.
That's who Missy is like. Missy is, she comes from a single mom.
Okay.
Missy, she always had leadership in her.
Okay.
So when a person has leadership, it just a matter how they lead you.
Yeah.
And Missy was always a great leader. So I'm not surprised of how big she was, because you couldn't just come, nobody, I don't care who you are, you can't just say anything to Missy. Missy she gonna challenge you. If it's wrong, she gonna challenge you.
Okay.
And that was a VA thing. She like, oh, Missy, we should go on top of the moon. You can go on the top of the moon. Missy Elliott ain't going on top. And people be like, you know how this world is, all the entertainment, the Hollywood. Oh, you should be. No, that's not what we do.
She gonna march their own beat.
She really sticks to how we was raised in the South, and she don't bend the rules. Other people could be going over there. Missy ain't going over there. She's very stern, very on point. She has sheer will, and she's gonna do what she says she's gonna do. So she always had that leadership, and that's what I always admire her about, because when I broke character, she always stayed in character.
Right.
So I'm like, man, she's amazing.
This beat, these beats, obviously at the height it was reported that you was getting 500,000. Have you ever had to tell someone, bro, I can't let you get on this one?
Unfortunately, nobody from our generation I had to do that. But as I started working with the new generation, now I don't say they was bad. I think my ears, I got old real. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, this midlife crisis kicking in.
Right.
Because I'm like, because music evolves.
Right.
But when it was evolving, I stopped evolving.
Right.
So when a person got on it, I was like, what in the hell is you saying? Like, you off the beat.
Right.
So I had to start adjusting, because I got kids. They like, no, Dad, like, that's popping. I say, he ain't on the beat, man.
Right.
That's not popping.
Right.
Then I started saying, okay, music, don't let me down, because you
put
leveled
me
up.
up.
You leveled up. So I was a person who changed people's perspective of putting animals in music.
Right.
So I got to accept the new rhythm of the youth. So I started listening to it, and I'm like, wow.
That's what's hot now.
Yeah, and it started hitting me different. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Right.
But when I first walked in the door, it threw me off. And that's when I had to say, bro, you can't have this beat. Before I say that, I went to my son, and I'm like, before I go left, is this dope? That's crazy. I'm like, okay. I got to go back to school. I have aged. I have gotten too comfortable with what I've always been doing, and not looking that it can evolve. There's another Timbaland come around the door.
Right.
There's another person come around. When all these tags coming out, I was like, I wasn't prepared for all that. I wasn't prepared for all, the new generation of digital. But I should have known it was coming, because we had Pro Tools.
Right.
And so I should have known that everything is gonna be switched over to a laptop. I was one of those guys to say, oh, that ain't music. When Ableton came out and people started playing on a pad, piano on a pad, then I had to say, yo, that's not a piano. And it really kind of like, that really like took me down. Like I had a low, because I felt like I'm so on point, but I kind of like let life kind of get in the way, which kind of steer me to another road where I kind of let music evolve above me. So when that happened, when I got with the new generation, I had to really like take a deep dive and say, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Did you ever get, and it doesn't seem like this happened, get high off your own supply. You have all these number one hits, and they're coming, and people come to you, hey, Tim, I need you. No, but I don't need you. Did you tell anybody, and look back at it and say, man, I shouldn't have done that?
Yes, I've done all that what I just told you based down to that. To say, they don't know what they're doing. They can't take a Timbo beat. They can't do this. And not understanding that they grew up to my music.
Right.
And just, it's bigger than me. And I had to really just do a deep dive into self-reflection and be like, I changed the game. Who am I? Who are you?
Right.
These kids look up to you. Their favorite song was Cry Me a River. And it's like, I started to just really have talk to my children, because they're younger. So I'm like, they said, you dope. You just gotta music ain't what y'all used to do.
Right.
And when they started saying that, I'm like, oh man, we turned the corner. So then I started to say, okay, this is dope. And I started getting more active and more in it. Then now, I'm all the way in it now. But it took some time because I had to come down.
Right.
I was too high on my ego.
It was like a coach.
Yeah.
This is my system. This is what I run. But the players that you have in that system might not be good for that system.
Exactly.
What you were used to, you were great at that. Now these players might not be great at that. So now let me evolve the system to fit today's players.
It's just like basketball. I don't know half of the players, so it evolved. You know what I'm saying? It evolved. How many stars? We were creating new stars. So when you watch it basketball, I said, do you know? When I went to the basketball game, I'm looking at it's just like music.
Right.
I don't know nobody.
Right.
I don't know what they three-pointer game. I ain't never seen this before.
Right.
I ain't never seen this before. So that's what music is.
Right.
It evolves. Our children get better than what we were. They take it to the next level. And I never understood that because I got too caught up in my own high horses.
So how did it work? Did you man, I want to work with this artist? You reach out or they reach out to you and say, hey, Tim, we heard your beat. We heard what you did with Missy. We heard what you did with Jay. We heard what you did with JT. Can you work with us? Or did you wait for them to come to you, or did you go to them?
Well, it's been a time where when I was on that, I thought people would come to me, but when I realized that there's a lot of people, they man, we go to this, we go to that, because they had a sound. So that kind of ended quick because a lot of young people that once I understood and my ear got corrected back again. So I started reaching out to people that these new artists and saying, hey, I want to work with you.
Right.
Because I admire what they was doing. It was like me surrendering to music.
Right.
Like I'm a student all over again.
Right.
I know I'm a coach, but I want to be Steve Kerr. I want to be that coach of field. I want to go down to history. Like I got my squad. Right. I got a team. Mm-hmm. I'm maybe not the guy. I understand my role. Mm-hmm. And I tell a lot of people, understand who you are and your strengths and weakness. And I know my strength is guiding people. Yeah, I could do dope beats, but as I started to understand where music was taking me now, is in that Quincy Jones moment. Mm-hmm. And it's like when Quincy did Thriller, he had a 25-year-old, he's 50. But Quincy grabbed that person, he got Rob Templeton, he grabbed the drummer, he grabbed all these people and made an incredible album. Right. I said, that's what I have to do with the future of music. So now I reach out to people and people that's not even big that I see that got talent.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because that's the future, that's the world. They gon', everybody can
jump on somebody that's hot.
Yeah.
You want to get the guy that nobody knows, give him a beat, guide him, and then make him or her become hot.
Yeah, because I want to be the guy, when I say something, not saying to take my word, just pay attention to me.
Right.
It's like buying into your product. Like if I say this drink, hey, Shannon got the best drink. So if you put out another one, I'm going to Shannon because Shannon knows his taste is amazing.
Right.
And so it's like I want people to understand when I say music, pay attention, and it's happening. Like I posted this French guy, Yame, and he said, he called me. He said, now the label's trying to sign me. And I'm like, well, they ain't trying to sign you before. You was dope before, just singing on a cappella. Yeah. So what I kind of do is to showcase what's coming after what's already popping today.
Right.
And it gives me joy because it makes me feel like I'm 19 again when I first got in music and when Missy came to me. But now I'm like, I created this legendary brand of Timbaland being the legend. So I like reaching out to people to show that I'm paying attention to your art.
Right.
You already know my art, but I'm scouting you out. It's like me creating a team. It's like I want to build okay, these are these are
This
my
is
starters.
quarterback, this
That's
is
my
receiver.
exactly. That's my dad. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, we need a front runner. We need to go take it to the 100-yard line. So I look at it like that. It's like plays now. Like it's getting the best of the best and creating. And I was thinking about doing an album like that. I'm just trying to figure it out because I don't want to do the typical album of getting everybody. I want to take raw talent and show people that, you know, because all music is about a song. It's not really about the so much of the artist no more. Like we have 100 songs uploaded every day on Spotify. So with that being said, I just want to have to curate the best songs of today with new people.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore producers all time?
Woo. Teddy Riley,
Okay.
Quincy Jones, Dr. Dre, Pete Rock. How many is that?
Got 4. That's it.
That's it.
Unless you're gonna do a new, go back in history.
It's only 4.
That's it.
Hold
4
on.
heads on Mount Rushmore.
Let me.
Damn, you want an octopus? So let's go ahead and do
No,
the
I'm
octopus.
trying to spin the wheel so I make sure I pick the 4th one right.
Hey, it's Teddy Riley, Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones, Pete Rock.
I said Pete Rock because he was the guy who kind of had. He was the first that kind of like took over the airways with all the remix with Douse Effects. Then he had like he had the Guru. Like
Yeah.
it was just. But then it's hard because I want. Okay, if I had to, dang, I can't just forget Premier. And Dilla. See, I'm stuck. We gonna have to have 3. Because the 4th one is up a toss up. Like I gotta go back and research.
I think the thing is when you say Dr. Dre and Quincy Jones, those 2 got to be there.
It got to be there.
They got to be there. Now we can debate the other 2, but you can't have a producer on Mount Rushmore without Dre and without Quincy.
You cannot. You cannot.
Okay. JT, how did the relationship with you and JT, Justin Timberlake, come about?
Justin always he liked what me and Missy did, and I met him when he was 15 at the studio, and he was like, "Hey man, I want to work with you," and blah blah blah.
Was he still in the group, or was
Yeah,
he
was still in the group,
okay.
and this was when before Alone came out. Alone was about that Michael Jackson. No, Gone was coming out, and this is like right around that time. So he was still in the group, but he was about to do a solo album, and so he was already working with Pharrell, and then he came. He said he remembered like, yo. Johnny Wright got with me and said, yo, just want to work with you. So when we got together, we had chemistry because he from Memphis, I'm from Virginia. It's like we kind of grew up on the same things. And when you kind of like had the same background and talk about the same things, and then he was already working for Pharrell, I already knew he was going to click with me.
Okay.
And it was just like a matter of time if he, you know, because back then you 15, I don't know if we say one thing, but he really followed up on it. Like my sound really stuck with him, and he had to work with me.
I'm looking, Cry Me a River, Suit and Tie, Sexy Back, 30 million albums sold. I mean, did you know he could do this?
Oh, hell yeah. When I first met, I said, oh, this white boy cold. Boy.
Yeah.
He
He don't sound like that.
He sound like a better George Michael, boy. I was like, yo, he got it. And then when he started dancing, I was like, I said, it's over. Because at that time, we haven't seen that.
Nobody had ever been able to do that.
Exactly. Right. So we came in an era where
I mean, he can really dance now. What Elvis was doing and shaking his hip, that's one thing. But what he was doing
was different.
Was what we were doing.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, then we start singing. I was like, oh, it's out of here.
Right.
When the solo, I said, oh, this is a Michael Jackson. And you know what I'm saying? The Justified album, that was a masterpiece. And when I did Cry Me a River, that was like one of the last songs we did. But like
did you know that was gonna be a hit? Do you know? Like, okay, you got the beat and someone singing over it. Do you know at that moment this ish is special? Or do you like, I think it's gonna be good? Or have you had a situation where you didn't think, like, I think it's gonna be okay, and then it blows up or you have one that you think is gonna blow up and it don't go anywhere?
Oh, it's a lot of those. It's a lot of those. It's a lot of those. Because I like all the B-side records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for the ones I knew was going to be a hit, like, that I didn't think that was a hit and I ain't think it was going to be a hit was 1 Minute Man. I ain't like that song.
Right.
Missy, like,
Missy.
I was like, I don't like this song. You gonna put this out? Tim, you crazy. This is the jam. All the girls going crazy. I'm like,
Yeah, I bet that girl was going crazy. Hell no, we didn't like it.
no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, man, 1 minute,
You
man.
gotta make light of us.
I was like, I said, man, you gotta put out videos on the street.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
God damn, that 1 minute feel like 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes, man. You know,
Yeah,
like
you know
1
what I'm
minute.
saying? You said 1 minute. Like, what? Damn. I was like,
Barely
and
cut the
then
lights
it's
off.
like, and I did that sound, beep, 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 beep. I said, you like this? This feels like nursery rhyme. She said, watch. And then when she said, boy, I'ma make you love me. I was like, it's dope, but you know, it still ain't, it ain't. Then Ludacris called me and said, you don't like this? Boy, you crazy. I'm about to get on. I'm like, well, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Right.
But then when it blew up, I said, that girl Missy, she knows. And from that point on,
You never questioned
no,
anything.
it was like Game of Thrones. You know, like, yes, my queen. Whatever you like.
What I'm looking now, you see Justin, he sold his entire music catalog, and we see a lot of artists starting to unload their music catalog. Justin Bieber sold his for $200 million. Tina Turner sold hers for $300 million. Bruce Springsteen sold his for $500 million. Why do you think guys, artists are starting to unload their music catalog?
I mean, it's a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with it? If somebody, we don't know if that 300 million be there tomorrow.
Right.
So what are we holding on to? What are we doing here? Okay. We work as hard for these moments.
Right.
When are people giving out those type of multiples on a check?
Right.
You know, so I feel like it's all personal preference. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people when they sell 300 million, that's a whole to set up for your family.
Yeah, that whole
like, you know what I'm saying? You go buy businesses,
yeah.
you get with certain people, and then you look at the time they doing Bruce Springsteen, he should have been sold. But guess what? He probably got his business plan and what he want to do with his money, what he want to do. Just add on and make sure you got kids. You know, I think it's smart business. You know what I'm saying? We build up this catalog for it to sell. Right. But you know, I seen T.I. says like, you know, different ways of doing it. And
he is right. Like, okay, lease it and for 5 years, 10
you
years,
can do that.
And get it back, or just go ahead and unload it outright.
So it all goes down to what's your business plan. So T.I. just gave somebody an individual of another business plan, which is not a bad business plan.
Correct.
And you just have to go do it. And some people it works because like it's all about, you know, we all black and financial literature is like not good in our community. So to take a lot of money up front is like what T.I. said is have business plan. Right. Don't just take all that money just to say I sold my catalog. At least have a plan of what you're gonna do with that money because it'll go just like that. Because when you pay taxes, you look at it very different.
So whatever it was, they half of that.
And then you be hot as a you hear me? I just got a witness of that. I was like, wait a minute. You took what?
Yeah.
You know, I had to go sit down. I was like, yo, that's highway robbery, bro.
It is.
That's extortion to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wait a minute, man. So that's why we got to work hard. So it's like you work hard to not work hard.
Right.
So if you have an opportunity to go finance your livelihood for the rest of 30 years of the rest of your life, why not take that?
Not? Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that bank might close. Look at what happened with SUV, with the Silicon Valley.
Right.
Just think about, you don't know what can happen in this market.
Versus. How did Versus come to be?
Man, we was home. And
during the pandemic,
we were just, we know what tomorrow hold. We thought it was fun. We reconnected with people that we should have been reconnected with, but we live in a world that we move so fast. And I've been saying this. I told my friends, when did the world shut down? Everybody, yeah, right. But it actually happened. So that means whatever somebody say, do not say, oh.
That would never happen.
You better pay attention. Mm-hmm. When they talk about UFO, pay attention. So when the pandemic, it was just me and Swiss, and we just had a conversation about just life. I was happy to talk to my friend. Like, I didn't know we was like best of friends until we start sharing like our personal stories that happened with us, what happened with us in life, our personal stories. And then I just called him one day. I started antagonizing him. I'm like, all right, what you gonna do with this beat? And I just started like doing beat battles because we did it one time before and TMZ picked it up when I played the Game of Thrones and we talked about, you know, going at each other and we did it on Instagram.
Okay.
And then we had the idea when we did Summer Jam is like do this album where I do Timbo side, he do Swiss side, like a versus Timbo. And then we tried the whole thing out really in Hot 97 at the Summer Jam. And it really worked. But you know, everybody was outside. You know, when the people outside the world go, we just doing the most. So I knew technology. I said once it shut down, I kind of had God put on my heart like technology was going to be the new wave. It's going to come in like a storm because we shut down. That's the only way to communication. Right. So I called Swiss. I said, man, remember that idea we had 3.5 years? You know, the idea we did with battling each other. Let's do that here. Let's do that on Instagram. Let's do it now. And it was I tell you, it was God, you know, moving the universe in the right direction to where it was no problem. And I think what sparked that up was D Nice. D Nice was DJing, everybody was on it. We was all jamming to D Nice. And I was like, man, what can we do? You know, saying to myself, and I called Swiss, I'm like, remember, you know, the idea that we had, that we did at Summer Jam, let's do it right here on the gram. He's like, when? I said, right now. He said, right now? I said, yeah, why not? All right, let's give me an album, get my setup. I said, all right, I'm gonna get my setup. And when we sparked it off, it was all because of the love. So when we did it, we only had 30,000 people, but it spread it. Right. And then once it spread it, we all came together as a team and like, we got something here.
Right.
And we just took control of a situation because I knew to really build like the platform we want to build really takes about two years. And when you want to get your idea out, you don't got 2 years. Like you need to show the world. Yeah. And so we just, you know, as we just jumped out and did our thing, and God blessed it to where it caught on like wildfire. Right. And I thank him because he allowed us to know how to follow the lead. Because some people get that spark plug and they go away from him. But I gotta thank Swiss is a smart businessman. Like, soon as we saw it and how people was embracing it, he's like, okay, we gotta have a meeting. What are we doing? This is what we doing. I said, right, we doing this, we gotta get the trademark, we gotta do this. And then people was like, oh, it ain't gonna last more past the pandemic. But me and Swiss knew that this was the new Soul Train. This was a new phenomenon. Right. This was something that's gonna go beyond the pandemic. And we just had to believe, because we had haters saying, oh, blah, 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 once they heard what we were doing. And then we knew as the culture, what I love about the culture, like, they kind of like a bunch of Missies. Like, they'd be like, that ain't it, that ain't it. And then you got to work past that ain't it to be like, then they be on the line, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for doing this. You don't know how much I did, but you was on last week, you was like, why y'all giving me this versus? Right. Why you doing? I was like, all right. Right. Mama, auntie, we got you. We got you. You know, I know you want cornbread. Yeah. I'm gonna go get you the cornbread, but bear with me. So that's how Versus was, and it's like, we really stood tall on that and got past that. And I can tell you another thing, it made us feel good in our soul. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to see it get to this point to where we elevate and now we get into the real business of it and negotiating certain things. And I just thank God that he allowed a tool that was already in place for us to invent our tool that we had.
So what can we expect from Versus? And we see with the artists, when they did this, the album sales, a lot of these artists hadn't put out music in a very long time, and we see their sales go through the roof. Everybody go and forget just how great the artists were and go back out and purchase some of their music and start that all over again. So what can we expect from Versus moving forward?
Man, we can expect the Versus effect. And we tell people how real that is. Like, we showing a new business. Versus really a new business to show, like, catalogs, like you said, that never been heard. It's got kids going back listening to it. Right. Versus is a tool of the future of not just like rebirth of catalog that people might have, because we selling the catalog. Right. But how do you get those catalogs to be heard again? Right. Versus is that platform. Okay. So what we got going forward is we trying to do bigger verses. We got a couple lined up, but like now that everybody outside is scheduling.
Right.
So we working on the scheduling, but we got some big ones.
Okay, I got some battles. I wanted you to know. Tell me, Chris Brown Usher battle. Chris Brown versus Usher.
That's one of our top 10s too. You know, it can happen. We know it can happen. It's just a matter of time because it's good for the culture. And that's a good one.
Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones.
I didn't see that one. That would kind of be amazing. You just gave
Well, that's the only. I mean, can't nobody else battle Dre. Can't nobody else battle Dr. Dre but Quincy. Can't no one battle Quincy but Dre. That's it.
You think so?
Who else you gonna throw? Quincy? 60 years in the Quincy?
I don't think nobody can battle Quincy.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna throw anything at him, it's got to be Dre. From Sinatra to Ray Charles to Michael Jackson.
Lacey, come on, man. That's like you just said Sinatra. How do somebody come after Sinatra?
I don't know. But that's okay.
I can see that. But are we missing what about Gamble and Huff?
Me personally, I ain't battling Quincy Jones.
That's why I say Gamble and Huff, because you went like segments of people. Frank Sinatra, only one that got that type of is Gamble and Huff, people who done from the stylistics on way down it. But I do like the Dre comparison. But I'm like, when you just said all what he done, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but Dre, I mean, you know, from Dre, from Snoop to Pac, and all those that he's. I mean, so it'll be interesting. I just want to hear the song.
I like the playlist of the two.
Yes,
I think.
But you only get 20 now. You only get 20. I ain't talking about no catalog because nobody got 4 days to listen to all these music.
See, that's the thing. Quincy ain't gonna just go for 20. He said, man, I gotta go. Quincy gonna hit us with a series.
Yeah, he
gonna be like the first series, the Juke Joint. This series, Secret Garden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna hit you with a series. You
Right.
can't just get him. You can't get Quincy 20.
Okay. Drake and Hove.
That would be a good one. But I'd rather see Hove and Nas.
Really?
Yes.
So if you got to put some money on, okay, your money, you got to put $1 million down. Hove and Nas.
I gotta put $1 million down either one.
Yeah, the winner.
I'm gonna have to say you get 500, you get 500. Because both of y'all are winners. That's Hove and Nas,
okay.
Bruh.
Prince and Michael.
Woo! So
it's more difficult than you think because Prince was a writer, and people forget that.
And now I'm about to go on your side with that one. I'm on your side with that one. I'm on people probably get mad they see this.
Yes.
But that Prince, it said written, composed, and produced. And composed and produced is the same thing. So what is composed? Some extra stuff? You know what I'm saying? So that's serious, bro. So I was thinking a whole creation of doing that. Cause I want to see that. I want people to pick the best from his family 20 and the Jackson family pick their 20.
Right.
That would be amazing. Cause all this technology.
Yeah, we can put a hologram. We put the hologram up.
Yeah, the AI, we gonna love it.
Yes.
We gonna go crazy. With the new technology, we gonna go crazy.
Well, since we got the hologram, we got the technology.
Yeah.
Tupac and Biggie.
That's what the world waiting for.
That's
what we all waiting for. Yeah. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it long as people, to me, it's let me and Swiss be creative. Don't judge it. People don't play with the dead, don't do that. I get it, but it's music.
Right.
I want to hear the music. I want to know I want to relive these memories again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I really think the Tupac and Biggie is necessary.
Right.
And I know people are probably gonna be upset. I just think Aaliyah too.
Yes.
I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Who you gonna put against?
That's what I don't know. But she needs to be in this conversation.
Whitney and Mariah.
That needs to be done. I like that. Look at that playlist. Mariah and Whitney. Do you know how they catalog gonna go out the roof? Mm-hmm. That's actually a beautiful. I'd rather see that one first.
That's what you want to see first.
I'd rather see not the Biggie Tupac, but that one.
Right.
Because that sets a tone. It gets the world ready.
Right.
It sets a sentimental tone, and it's like Mariah. We gonna cry. We gonna be emotional, and Mariah gonna bring it. Cause she gonna talk her talk, and them songs back to back.
Right.
And just us seeing it. You know, they try these documentaries where I Wanna Dance, but that's really the I Wanna Dance with somebody. If we did the verses, the I Wanna Dance, what everybody wanna do, just documentary on Whitney, is really the verses, like what you just said, Whitney and Mariah Carey.
Who can we put Adele against?
I would love to see Adele go really against Alicia again.
Okay.
I know Alicia did John, and that was great. She did that one, but I would want to see Alicia again with Adele.
I don't know if anybody's ever thought about this one. What about B and Riri?
You know, like, it's funny.
Or who could we put against B? Is there anybody we can put against B? Aretha Franklin?
It can't be nobody from her era.
No, it can't. She's
It has to
she's
be
a standalone.
It has to be a Aretha Franklin. It has to be somebody of somebody that's here. If it's a legend that's here or a legend that's not here.
Right.
She's a standalone.
Who can we put against Marvin Gaye? Teddy Pendergrass, Luther, Barry White. I'm trying to think. Sam Cooke. I mean, who would you like to see go battle Marvin?
What name you just said? You said like 4.
I said, I started out with Marvin.
Teddy.
Teddy P.
I think Teddy. Mercy, turn off the lights. I'm doing like a collage in my head. Oh, that's a good playlist. Not only that, verses is a curated thing, so it's like your curation is accurate because I'm looking at playlisted. Because like you said, we raising catalog, and that's what Swiss is great at, is curating these playlists in the whole like the versus genre or someone. Because when people go back and listen to the playlists, and when you put,
I didn't know they had that song. I didn't know you do that.
exactly, and now you got more music too in your car.
Right.
You know, now you're like, oh, the verses is Marvin and Teddy. So now you go on your Apple Music, you like, wow.
But Teddy, I mean, people don't remember this, but Teddy used to have female-only concerts. Tell me how the nigga do that. Female only.
That's why I say, that's a mean one.
You mentioned Aaliyah. Sing, she was in movies. How big would she have been had she not tragically lost her life? Was she headed to, I mean, because we see Beyonce sing, she was in movies. Was she going to be Beyonce before Beyonce?
I think it would have probably been, this is how I think it would have been. 4 girls. Or 5. Missy, Beyonce. I said, like 5 like top-notch girls. Missy, Beyonce, Aaliyah, Rihanna. It's another girl too. Nicki. I think she would have been in those top 5. I don't know if she would have beat or been. We don't know that.
Right.
But she would have been top 5, top 3 maybe.
Another guy that produced and songwrite. I believe you can separate art from an artist. You can say what he produced and what he did was unbelievable in the art form, and be disgusted by what he did as a person, and that's R. Kelly. And sometimes, because the depravity and what he did, you throw everything that he's done artistically away. I don't believe you can do that.
No, you
I
cannot.
believe you can separate the two.
Yes, you can.
I have.
I agree. I agree.
Talk about Kelly the artist. There's nothing to try to downplay or whatever he did outside of the music realm, because we know.
R. Kelly's the king of R&B. We all know that, man. And it's funny, I'm glad you talk about that, because I be having talks with everybody jump when you say R. Kelly. I'm like, so we just gonna ignore his music that he gave us that we all jam to? No, we can't do that.
Right.
His art is his art. I'm not gonna bash the
But
man's
he ain't the
art.
only one that got some things and got some things in his closet, but we still listen to the music.
Exactly. And to me, we have to learn how to, I think as a culture, we have to learn how to separate that. And if I say, okay, who can battle R. Kelly? I don't want to see in the comments, how you gonna have this? Don't mix music up with personal. Music is a feeling that stands alone. Music is something that don't have no race, that brings people together. It don't have no drama with it. It is a place of enjoyment, of feeling.
Right.
So don't bring drama into music. Leave that outside. His art is his art. I say the same thing about a lot of people, you know, that are great artists. But we look at what they do on a personal level.
And try to disqualify the art.
You can't do that.
I'm looking at some of the people that you work with, from Rihanna to Beyonce, Ludacris, Snoop, Mariah, Brandy, Alicia Keys, Ross, Petey Pablo, Pastor Troy, Brother Sparks. How do you go about with these? I mean, you look at these guys, this is a who's who. And then you go Michael Jackson, Nelly Furtado, Miley Cyrus, Elton John, Shakira, Katy Perry, Brad Paisley, One Republic, Nickelback, Limp Bizkit, Lindsay Lohan, Coldplay. Bruh, you all over the map.
I didn't never, like, till you just said all that, but I just now noticed that. I just look at it like my job.
It's music.
It's music, and I still got
It doesn't matter the genre of music. It can be country, it can be, R&B, it can be pop, it can be whatever.
Because I know I'm going to bring my swag to it.
Right.
So to me, it's like another day at the office.
Right.
Let's go do it. Like it's a challenge. It was a challenge. Like, because I'm like, what do y'all want from me?
Right.
We want you. Okay, well, you want a little bit of what you used to with me on top. Just do you.
You really want that?
That's what I say. All right. And they allow it.
Right.
And we make history.
Who you been most surprised by that gave you a call and said, we want you?
Elton John. Because I'm like, Elton, but I had an idea when I got in the studio. I'm like, I don't want you to sing, I just want you to play. And I'm going to put a choir around you playing.
Okay.
So he was like, so what do you want me to play? Just
whatever.
Just go.
So you tell Elton John to just play, you're going to put something around him. Is that normally what you do? Or do they ask for, it's like, okay, this is what I have. Okay, how do you enhance it?
Well, it's like, Elton John was following my lead because he's like he's the GOAT.
Right.
And I'm young Timbo.
Right.
I had this vision. So it was like he was following my lead.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't what I guess he was used to working with.
Right.
But I knew who Elton John and his talent, and I knew my favorite song was Benny and the Jet. Boom.
Benny.
Yeah, like, and I knew and I was like, love all his music. So it's like, I just wanted to play. I don't want him to sing because I don't know how I'm gonna flip his singing, which I could have.
Right.
But I just want him to. I want to showcase his art and what he gifted was in his playing. So I said I had this beat. I said, let's play to this. Let's play. And I'm gonna put the choir to it. He just let me do what I do. And he came back and I played it for him. He was shocked. He was like, wow.
You work with artists, that's what you normally do, but how different is it collabing with a producer, Scott Storch? You collabing with an artist, a Beyonce or, somebody that sings and you're producing the beats, but now you got another producer and they do what you do.
That was the fun because now you're meeting like-minded people, and Scott was always dope. Scott was dope, and when I did Crime and River, I was just me beatboxing, all that stuff. And I said, I need Scott to play them chords over top of that. And I called Scott, and he was right there, and he did it. And he started adding his sauce. I knew Scott he was incredible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Scott had a gift I guess Scott is like, I look at Quincy Jones as he developed his team at that younger age. It's the same thing. And Scott was the guy with all the soul. The Roots knew who he was. That's why he came up with the Roots and all that. And Scott was like a perfect person to collab with because it's like LeBron and AD, you put a great team together. It's like I could pass the ball to him, I know he gonna get 20.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Scott was the guy. His soul was just like my soul. We was like musical soul brothers.
Right. Working with Hove, you guys go back and you see what. Yeah. Hey, definitely got to give him flowers.
Yeah.
All that money he making. I want to have Hove on here. I want to give him his flowers. But
you gotta get him a goddamn garden.
Yeah, definitely for sure. You go in the studio and you work with Hove, obviously early in his career, but did you know Hove was gonna turn out to like go from what he was? He talked about cooking on the stove, standing on the corner, to rapper, to entrepreneur, to multi-billionaire.
I'm glad we're talking about this guy. Never really Jay-Z is a prophet. I don't know if y'all read the Bible, of any scholars of the Bible. God sent him. I never seen nobody like Hove. Hove actually raised me. He don't even know it. He raised me in the music business. He was so prolific, so wise beyond his age, that I was just amazed at just watching him. That's why, I had a different bond with Jay when it come to my music. It was like we was rewriting the Bible in a way, or rewriting history as it's gonna be. How Jay-Z foresaw the world going forward, Shannon, I ain't seen nothing like it. When I say this guy speak multiple languages, when we did Picasso, that wasn't the first version. The first version was all the Hebrew language and all the Jews. He was just breaking it down. And that's when I realized this guy not human. He's different. I learned about chess from him. I learned a lot of things just being around him. So for me, it was like going to Black Harvard University.
Right.
Watching Moses, and I'm following him as he leads us through the desert.
Right.
Because Jay, I knew he was destined for greatness. I knew I'm watching the next biggest thing since, I don't want to say Elvis, I don't want to say, I want to say them, I want to say E.T.
Wow.
Because when E.T. came out, it shook the world. And that was a movie.
Right.
I'm saying to you, Hove is a movie. When he did that DJ Khaled song, people should really take that.
The God Giver?
Yes, and really chew it. And really use that for a guideline of your life. Jay-Z gave you raps that can help your business. That's how powerful that man is.
Place me on anywhere on God's green earth, I'll triple my net worth.
So when our age now, you gotta look back, that man was 20.
He does give you a blueprint of what you can become.
Exactly.
From what he was to what he is.
And he taught me so much, bro. And I'm glad I was a student to get to see it.
You've had some struggles in your life. You had an addiction.
Yes, I did.
And you said you weren't Tim. Mm-hmm. And not only did it affect you, it impacted others around you.
Yes.
How did this addiction come about?
Not really being sure who I am. A lot of people, I can say this now, when we talk about haters, it's really the enemy in the inner me. I was fighting the enemy within me. I was married at the time and doing things, not really knowing who I am, chasing things that's false. And just life just got a little bit aggressive. It got the best of me. Mm-hmm. And so to deal with all the pressures of life, it started with a dentist taking Vicodin. Then the Vicodin made me feel like Superman. It made me get over everything. And then all of a sudden, I find myself just taking it all the time. I had a doctor that was giving it to me at all the times. My mom was a great prayer warrior. She was in the church, and she told me she had a dream of me being like, my face was turning blue or something like that. And then I was on it I was taking like 160 milligrams a day of Oxycontin. Wow. And everybody that I know who done that has died. You know what I'm saying? So I think I even died, at one point in time where I got out. I had an out-of-body experience where I was laying in the bed and I saw myself laying in the bed. And from that point on, God has changed my mind, and I didn't go to a doctor. I did it cold turkey here. I just started weaning myself off. And you can put pills in front of my face. I could just look at it and be like, because I ain't gonna sit here and hold you. I'm like, it feels great. It's amazing, but it's not amazing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I try to be an advocate and talk about that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And I put my mind to it with the help of God and praying. He weaned me off. I didn't have to go be on another drug to get off a drug.
Right. Did the pill addiction impact your marriage? Did that have a role?
I think it impacted my whole life. God took me to the bottom, where when I got divorced, divorce is like that thing, like a business. It destroys you. You lose everything.
Half of everything.
You lose everything. So for me, it was a self-reflection for me. So I didn't mind going back to the crushing place, because God needed to wake me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a redeem you, but I gotta humble you too. I gotta break you down and make me realize, because a lot of things in life I was taking for granted. When we young, we get money. It's just a lot of things I was taking for granted, and I just started appreciating little things like be able to stretch, be able to still run, like my organs still work, that I still got my right mind. It was just me. The drugs had me, because I was an introvert, and I felt like that being an introvert ain't gonna get you paid, because you can't be quiet. You gotta go out and mingle.
Yeah, you got.
So the drug helped me to do that. But people started to notice, like, Tim, you all right? You.
Did your work slip because of the pill addiction?
Oh, did it? God took my hearing away. I couldn't hear right. I remember I was in the studio with Tinashe, and I was playing this beat. And then when I thought about it, I was like, that was the wackest beat ever. But in my head, I was still going through recovery stage. So I shouldn't have really gotten to that room.
Right.
But because I ain't no quitter, I'm gonna do it. But I know through me still getting off of the drug, I still had some relapse that still wasn't correct. And I couldn't hear properly. So I was trying to get back at something that God gave me, so I neglect the gift. I neglect music. I thought I was bigger than music. And that's not how it works.
Right.
You gotta give God all the glory for what you have, your gift, and don't get above the gift. And I got above the gift. And the drugs had me like, I'm Timbo, everybody gonna come to me.
Right.
And then when I realized ain't nobody coming to me, you know what I'm saying? And my energy is wearing off on the world, and I didn't even know it in social media. Stuff I was saying was just all
Yeah, we
reckless.
reported that Hov told you, said, man, don't do no more interviews.
Yep.
That's
what I'm trying to say. He's a prophet.
Right.
Even Drake told me. That's why I said, that's when I look at people like those guys are like special to the world. Like, Drake, I think I did something, talk crazy on one revolt, and Drake's like, yo, man, you don't want to do that and have to go back and apologize later. Like, you want to check it. Like, I commend people like that for correcting me. Right. And on my behavior. Chris Brown corrected me on my behavior. So I commend people, because that's what we need.
Right.
Even though it might cut to the knife, I don't look at it as, what's up? What you trying to say? I don't look at it as a beef.
See, that used to be how we did. A community raised kids.
Exactly.
You remember when we were growing up, if the elderly people or somebody of older than you saw you doing wrong, they say, Tim, don't do that. Still, son, don't curse. You too young to curse. Or you too young to steal. You too young to smoke. But somehow we lost that now that if we see other blacks and we try to correct them, let that man live. You being an Uncle Tom, you speaking bad, you speaking negative, but they thought enough of you. They say, man, Tim, this ain't you, man.
That's why I say it's love. That's why I love it. Because nobody got to say nothing to watch you fall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, once they give you the information, it's up to you to do what you do. Now, I didn't do it as much because the drugs had a little bit more toll. But once I started breaking myself off, weaning myself off divorce, then all the stuff started coming out in my divorce. Like, who was doing this, not say behind my back, but stuff I wasn't paying attention to. Right. Because I fought me, because I could have be something different if I was paying attention. Right. So I can't say, oh, nobody did me wrong, because the drugs had my mind and thinking that I'm going to always be this, I'm going to always do that. Which is kind of like, you kind of need that mentality, because that mentality kept me going. Right. I didn't like how the mentality came on from a drug abuse. If it was just me being natural, being like, all right, that's what it is, because it's going to allow me to get out of the situation.
It's the things that makes us great that also makes us most fallible.
Exactly. Heroes and the villain in one.
What is a Timbo studio session like? I mean, is there ambiance going on? You got, I mean, what's a, we coming in, we got a studio. What time do you normally, you're setting? What time?
Which era are you talking about?
Okay, I guess these young dudes, they come to that thing at like midnight, 2 o'clock, 2 a.m.
Well, that's how I used to start.
Okay.
I didn't go to studio till like 1 o'clock.
So what the hell you doing? I mean, what? You ain't got no other job? Sleep?
Like a vampire. I'm gonna tell you, I was gone, and I was gone. I keep the shades down. I was in the dark, bro. I was in Get Out, for real. Like for real. Like I tell people, now people take me on lean and stuff, I be like, I know the feeling. I know the goodness of it, but I know the bad outweighs the good. Right. I slept with the shades down. Like, who sleeps in darkness? Right. I never wanted the shades up. I constantly just, the sunlight's hurt my eyes. That's darkness, man. Like, I ain't come out to the dark. Right. And I felt like, I look back at it like now, and Pharrell always had to like 9 to 5, I'm out of there. I was like, 9 to 5, I don't get started till 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but now I look at it like, I get better because, I train, I work out, I take care of my body, I do all of that. So I started around about like 12. Okay. And I try to stop at like 9 because my brain, look, I ain't got no more juice in me, bro. We got 2 hits today. Right. Okay? Because after that, I know it's going to be bull crap. I ain't going to fool myself. I'm going home and watch some TV, watch your show. You and Skip. You know what I'm saying? Rewind. Then I go back into a beat. So coming to a Timbaland session today is like I go in there with my team, young producers, and I go in there and be Coach Timbo, and go in there, dictate, let's move this, let's change this, let's do this. And we go in there, we make about 3 or 4 hot ones, and like, let's go live life, let's go look at some TV, let's read a book, let's go look at something. Right. Because you can't just sit in there just constantly do music, you just repetitious. And after a while, you kind of like overloading. You have to like take a break. Right. And I've learned that through time, like taking a break helps you recover and come focused.
Back. I watch and follow you on social media, and I see that you work out, you spend a lot of time, and I want to commend you on that, because I like to see when brothers take care of themselves and that their health is a big priority. I mean, wealth doesn't mean anything if you're not healthy. Yep. And so to see you do that and see the transformation that you've put your body through, and you did it all through hard work.
Thank you. You inspired me.
Really?
Look how you look. I tell my coach, Phil, who's sitting over there, I tell him all the time, I said, man, look how Shannon look, man. I hope you don't ever take off his shirt. Did I see a picture you tell shirt to me? He said he got hip replacement. I said, his hips don't look bad to me. I'm over here like, it's you, The Rock. And I'm like, being 50 is like being 20 all over again. Mm-hmm. And my dad just had 2 strokes, and and God bless him, he still, didn't lose too much, don't have, just got a little speech. Mm-hmm. Got hit by an 18-wheeler, ran over him, back and forth. That's all. Only thing he did was poo-poo on himself. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I look at the bloodline of our family, of my dad. So I'm like, I've been on heavy narcotics. Right. My kids, I I don't want to be lazy. I know that I'm better than this. And I always had vision when I look in the mirror. Some people can look at, their weight and everything. I was just one who always saw, when I look at, say, you, Jerome Bettis, The Rock, I'm like, see, I got that bone structure.
Right.
I supposed to fit, like when they go line each other up, I want to stand, at least I'm at the end of the line. Right. I ain't gonna say that because I ain't know, I said, then I was looking at athlete, and I just started like, yo, I could be like that. But then I always like food used to be a part of it.
Right.
So I had to just say, you know what, I'm like John Wick. I got sheer will. You know what, I could do this. And so I just started like, I look at you and I just watch you in the gym. I look at all y'all and I'm like, no, this 50s is the new 30s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at these guys. Like, that's how you're supposed to look.
Right.
You supposed to be healthy, keeping going. Like, you're not supposed to get old. And then it's just like, you only get one car. Your body's your car.
You get one life.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
get one life. I mean, I got both hips replaced. You can get knees replacement. Heart, lung, kidney. Can't replace life.
No. And look, I'm looking like, look at this, he like he 20 years old, bro. I just told him, I said, man, TV don't do him justice. Like, these cameras gotta stop. They gotta stop that, bro. These cameras adding, no, y'all lenses is off. Because I'm looking at it, bro, like you can still play. You like y'all still T.O., all these people.
Right.
I'm amazed at athletes. Like I took a new liking to all athletes because the abuse that y'all take.
Yes.
The critic, people who don't even work out tell you that I see
You
you
got
a
it,
skip
shit.
and you talk, oh, he made it. But have you got on the field? Have you lifted weight? Until you start looking at what y'all do and what y'all put y'all body through,
right.
It's the respect that I love. I worked out with Chris Paul, and he was like, man, just you being not an athlete, this is what I do for a job. But you come out here and put it in with me, I respect you. Right. I would buy anything you selling, because you put in the work. And I ain't really understood that, but till I saw them, I'm like, man, we talk about the big pays, that's cool, but what they go through.
Everybody sees the payday, but they don't know the process that they took to get to the payday. It's just like you. I mean, they see the beat, but they don't understand what you went through growing up to perfect the craft that finally the culmination is, okay, Cry Me a River, Suit and Tie, or the Missy beats and all that other thing. They don't see that. All they see is the payoff.
That's all this. But see, I have a whole nother respect, and I felt like I came with a program we call Pushing Peaks. That I feel like people of our age, our generation, talking to the men that's from 40 on up, 30 on up. Look, it's about mental clarity.
Right.
Working out is cool for the body, but it really makes me clear. It gives me a high that I can't explain, and it makes me look at life a little different. It takes away anxiety for me. It's just a whole lifestyle. Like, it's my whole life. Like, I don't like to travel if my meals is messed up. Like, I'm very serious with it. Yeah. Like, I'm so serious with it. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. What we got to do for 2 days? Oh man, let me figure out my schedule. I need my supplements. I need this, and I feel good, and I have great doctors around me just like teaching me about the body. Like, they say, yo, Tim, I get your glucose monitor. I said, I said, man, I ain't got no disease. I ain't got no hard blood. No, we want to turn you into a fat burning machine, not a sugar burning machine.
Right.
So I started getting the glucose monitor, putting on my arm and going like this. I'm really all into it because I feel like it's allowing me to do things like this, have a conversation when I used to be scared.
Right, okay.
I didn't think I had enough in me to do this. You know what I'm saying? My education ain't all that great. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but and it allows me to say, Tim, you good. I made your imperfection perfection.
Right.
Go show your gift. Right. You don't know who you can touch.
Right.
So I just started just being free, and by me working out, it allows me the endorphins in my brain to say, I'm a better me.
Yeah, if you take ownership of your imperfections, your frailties, then no one can make you feel inferior about them.
Exactly. And when I work out with the athletes and they go faster, they look at me, and Phil got a lot of fighters that come in there. He train all these fighters, and they be like, I'm like, man, I ain't training with these guys, man. But he said, nuh-uh. Get in there.
That's what you need.
Then I get in there, and then they look at me, they dap me up, and they really dap me up.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell it ain't just because I'm Timbo the Kid.
Yeah.
They really like, yo.
Because that's what we do. We're athletes. We train. That'll be like if we came in the studio and we did okay on the track. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. We're going to give you yours because that's what we do. We train. Our job is body and to make sure our body is performing in peak condition, in heat shape.
Yes.
And so I wanted to commend you on that. Let me ask you a question. Get you out of here on this. Are we gonna get a Timbo Missy reunion? And you got any new music coming out?
Yes, we are getting the Timbo Missy. I'm gathering up the sound because it's a certain sound that I want her to have. You see how good she look right now?
Yeah.
She look like she's 20 years old.
Yeah.
So I want to give her a sound that fit how she looks.
Okay.
And that's my job, to get her excited while she's doing all the things. Because I think she's doing the Lovers and Friends. She got a lot of festivals coming up. So I'm just gathering all my material to really go sit down with her. I know April's gonna be a busy month, but I gotta finish up with her, and we're gonna try to put it out around her birthday in July.
Okay.
My God.
Timbo, appreciate you, bro. Love.
Shannon, this was beautiful, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Taking the opportunity, sitting down and talking with me, bro.
Hey, man. But look, this Shay.
All the best,
Sheesh.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.